The Honourable Minister of Trade from Malawi, Deputy High Commissioner, the UK Chamber of Commerce Chair and CEO, distinguished guests, friends, and all protocols observed. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon, both online and in person from Scotland and Malawi, and I'm sure in other countries, people have joined as well. You're all welcome. You are welcome to this chamber, to UK Malawi Chamber of Commerce Scotland launch. And my name is Nasim Vadalia. I'm the Communications and Engagements Officer at the Scotland Malawi Partnership. I'll shortly pass it on to the UKMCC CEO, Hannington Gondwe. But before I do that, I just want to do a few housekeeping notes so you're familiar with a few things around here. For those of us joining us here at the Business Center in this room, there will be no fire drills. Just in case you hear any fire alarms or anything, please follow my colleague Dorothea right here. She'll be the one who's going to lead us where to go and if we need to evacuate at that time. And when you're given a chance to speak, we'll pass on the mic. I'll be the one passing on the mic. Just raise your hand and that'll be it. For toilets, we do have some just outside the door on your right-hand side. They're both for gents and ladies. If you're not sure, I'll just be there as well. You can just ask me if you're lost. And there's also Wi-Fi in case you need Wi-Fi in this room. It's assembly rooms internet. So you don't need to put in any password. It's free Wi-Fi. And so for everyone as well, that's both online and in here, this meeting is being recorded and every content that we're going to get will be shared on our past events page, and the UK Chamber of Commerce will also share the content of this. So you being here from this moment means you have given us consent to share your pictures or anything that you're going to say. If you're not comfortable with anything, you can just let me know as well, and we'll be able to sideline you as well. And for those joining us online, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box. The chat box will also include all our online resources, and we'll be happy to know where you're joining us from and who you are. And if you could also just remain muted and only unmute your mic when you're asked to speak. And if you can unmute your mic, including the video, that would be great because it would be nice to see you in this room when you're speaking. At this point, I will hand it over to the UKMCC CEO, Hannington. Over to you. Thank you.
Wow. Brilliant remarks from Nasim. And you'll be pleased to know that someone in this room has brought with him or her this glorious weather. Isn't it looking beautiful outside?
Yeah.
Right. Has the minister joined yet? Just for your information, the minister was meant to join us in person, but as a result of an emergency commitment, he'll be joining us remotely, but he'll participate in the deliberations today. Right, on that note, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Let me begin by extending our heartfelt appreciation to the Honourable Minister of Trade and Industry. If he hasn't joined yet, he'll have the opportunity to play the remarks after the event. Engineer Vitumbiko Mumba, as I said, he was meant to join us in person, but he's joining us remotely. The Honourable Minister, from the Chamber's perspective, we are truly grateful that despite the pressing issues that has led him not to be here in person, he's offered to join us today, remotely. And his action by doing that reflects the Malawian government's strong commitment to strengthening trade and investment ties with Scotland. I would also like to acknowledge the Malawi High Commission to the United Kingdom. Although His Excellency Dr. Thomas Bisika is unable to join us today because of a diary clash again, we are honored to be joined by the Deputy High Commissioner, Justice Agness Patemba, and the team comprising of Shakira Piri, who's the trade attaché, she's at the back there, Violet Chakwera, who's the investment attaché. Raise your hand, please, so that people see you. And remotely, we've got Dyson Banda, who is the tourism attaché. Unfortunately, you'll see him later on, he might not be able to raise his hand as he's joined remotely. You know, Madam High Commissioner, your support, through your office is greatly appreciated by the Chamber. In Malawi, we say, Zikomkwambili. It is a great privilege for me to welcome all of you to the official launch of Scotland, the Scotland chapter of the UK and Malawi Chamber of Commerce. Today marks a significant milestone as we expand our footprint and deepen our mission of fostering meaningful economic partnership between Malawi and Scotland. This launch is more than symbolic. It is a practical, strategic step towards unlocking investment, encouraging enterprise, and creating opportunities that benefit both nations. Our vision at the Chamber is simple, yet powerful. It is connecting ideas, investment, and innovation between our two countries. Throughout this afternoon, you hear from pioneering entrepreneurs, impact investors, government representatives, all of whom are playing a vital role in shaping the Malawi-Scotland business corridor. From green growth to scalable enterprise models, from cultural tourism to agri-business value chains, the potential between the two countries is vast and you'll be pleased to know, very exciting. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners in the Scotland-Malawi partnership for your steadfast collaboration in bringing today's event to life. And I know Stuart and the team, you continue to lay the crucial groundwork in order for this chapter to flourish. To our business community, to all our speakers, to our colleagues in government and the diaspora, and each of you attending, both online and in person, thank you for your belief in the power of this mission. Let us use this launch to re-energize our shared commitment, to deepen our connections, to unlock trade and investments, and to write the next chapter in the Scotland-Malawi success story. Finally, I'm pleased to share that I'll be chairing today's program. Therefore, I invite you, all of you, to engage actively, ask questions, build connections, and help us collectively to chart a broader, more inclusive trade and investment future. Thank you very much, and let us begin. And by beginning, I mean inviting the chairperson of the UK Malawi Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Edgar, or the what call him Edward. Edgar, I should have eaten more sandwiches, before, coming. Edgar Chibaka to say a few remarks. Over to you, Edgar.
Milton talks about the weather. I am here in Scotland today, very proud, because one of the things that I do when I meet some colleagues out there talking about Scotland, I feel like I'm very Scottish. And it's true. At the age of 13, I was actually baptized as a member of the Church of Scotland, Presbyterian. So it connects me to Scotland quite well. A big fan of Dr. David Livingstone. I've been to where he was born. And if you haven't, I encourage you to go there. So Scotland is home. I'm not a stranger here. I'm meeting brothers and sisters, uncles at home. Friends, I thank you for coming today. I come from the business world. A number of years ago, when I got really interested in business is what tends to run my life. And when I meet fellow entrepreneurs, business leaders, I get so excited. And I am really excited to have you, because in the world of business, we endure so much. And one of the things that makes me to be excited today is the fact that people in this room, you have put aside your money and you've gone to do business in Malawi. You've left your comfort here. You would have actually invested in your bonds here, but you said, no, we want to go and invest in Malawi, creating jobs and helping to transform lives. Business is the only source of good that we have in this world. When the business community comes together, like what we are doing today, and we agree that let's move forward, we become a power that becomes a source of good. We transform societies, we transform communities. So friends, the Chamber of Commerce that we have between Malawi and the UK is a significant thing. We need to be a participant in this. Why is this so important? And why should it be important? Why should it matter? It's because it is the only better forum that we have that we can foster partnerships. I do not think that there is anyone in this room who can achieve success or business success by working by themselves. We need partnership. We've actually just come through, and we're still trying to figure out how the country in Malawi, we're gonna move forward after the US aid was withdrawn, leaving so many gaps in the communities, including in the business circles where they were investing some money. I am a big champion and a big advocate of trade, not aid. And that's what gets me excited about business. And when I meet some colleagues from the third sector, you always want to know what is it that you're doing in your area of activities that borders around business. So I get excited when I hear, oh, we are helping some women in the rural areas to do some business. We are giving them some small funding so that they can actually be entrepreneurial. That is what will transform Malawi. That is what is going to transform our two countries and our businesses. We need to forge meaningful partnerships. And I do know sometimes we have actually gone into the country and we're looking for doors to open. You knock on this door, it doesn't open. You knock again, you feel frustration. I get it because me too, I have been frustrated. We get frustrated with a lot of bureaucracy. But that tends to be, when you're working alone, the frustrations can be even bigger. But when we work together, we share ideas, we share contacts, we share the know-how. I may know somebody that you probably don't know, and you're struggling to get the person that I know. I can put you in the right direction, so can you. And with this partnership, I met a couple of guys who were wanting to invest in tourism. And they say, we have been trying and trying to get land and to get the investment in Malawi. We are struggling. And my sharing with them was, yes, you will continue struggling as long as you are also wanting to partner with government. I want you to know this. There's partnership that you can forge with governments, but a real meaningful partnership that will move our businesses forward to achieve what we need to achieve will not be partnerships through government. It will be partnership with a fellow business. So be on the lookout. What is the chamber offering? Who is looking for meaningful partners from Malawi that is in your space? And put yourself forward that you are looking for bona fide partners in your space. Because we can help bringing standardization, international standards. By doing that, we make whatever is produced over there to be of international quality. We struggle with these. But when we share ideas and knowledge, we can become better businesses. So be encouraged that the chamber is here and we will be working so hard as we have always been doing for the past few years, opening doors, getting people encouraged from a point of withdrawal of their capital investment to actually putting in more. Malawi is a land of opportunities. The opportunities are everywhere. And we're going to take some time today to hear more about what is available. And let's listen attentively, because within those businesses, there are key players and there are also some junior players who are looking for partners. And that partner could be you. That partner could be us. Let's build these linkages. As we build these linkages, we will create sustainable businesses, businesses which will create meaningful jobs and meaningful transformation. As a Malawian, I feel so embarrassed and so bad when I hear that Malawi is on that list, one of the least developed countries in the world. We can change this, not through politics, but through business. Because business people, they create wealth. And when the business people, they create wealth, wealth uplifts the nation from being one of the bottom poorest countries in the world. Then we can move into the middle income. And sooner, by 2063, according to the vision that the government has put forward, will be a wealthier nation. So friends, be invited to join in the chamber, and let's go out there and spread the word. The chamber is here to stand for the business community. We are apolitical. We have got no interest in politics. We are interested in business. But I do know at one point, yes, we want to do business with the government. But we are apolitical. And let it be so. I thank you so much and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Edgar Chibaka. At this juncture, may I please invite Madam Deputy High Commissioner Justice Patemba to make a few remarks on behalf of the High Commission. Thank you.
Mwadzuka bwanji. That's it. So, government officials, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, friends, good afternoon, and Mulibanji. I have the honor of delivering this statement on behalf of the High Commissioner, Dr. Thomas Bisika, who is also the patron of the chamber. He was really looking forward to be with us here this afternoon, but due to other official engagements, he's in Stockholm today on official duties, and as such, he's not able to attend this important function. He's conveying his warm greetings and best wishes to all the participants and has expressed his full support of the chamber and its work. It is truly a pleasure to be here today. Let me now read his speech. It is truly a pleasure to be here today in person and also virtually, and welcome the people all over to the beautiful city of Edinburgh, and also colleagues from Malawi. Our sincere appreciation to the Scotland-Malawi Partnership, the UK-Malawi Chamber of Commerce, and all partners who have made this event possible. Your vital role in strengthening the enduring bond between our two nations cannot be overstated. Over many years, the Scotland-Malawi Partnership has helped to keep this relationship not just alive, but meaningful and importantly, impactful and more people-to-people focus. Events like this remind us that the relationship between Malawi and Scotland is far more than a diplomatic connection. It is a bond Malawians hold close to their hearts. It is a story of real people, real friendships, and real cooperation stretching across generations. A story of shared values, mutual respect, and deep commitment to each other's well-being. Malawi recognizes and deeply appreciates the international development cooperation that has been shaped much of this shared journey. Scotland's contributions in health, education, climate resilience, energy, gender, and social development have made a lasting difference in the lives of many Malawians. This cooperation has built capacity, delivered essential services, and created life-changing opportunities, and so many more. But today, it is not just about celebrating a long-lasting friendship. It is about building something new. The horizon is changing. As we move from aid to trade to create mutual benefit, Malawi is open for business. The focus is shifting from aid to trade to build a shared value and mutual strength. Malawi stands ready to present real tangible business opportunities to partners in Scotland, opportunities that are not only beneficial, but also truly transformative. The Malawi government is actively creating an environment whereby business can grow, investors can thrive, and partners can flourish. The focus is on sustainable, inclusive growth, and Malawi welcomes investors who are not only simply looking to take, but also are ready to build and work together. Priority investment sectors include agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing, just to mention a few, areas where the potential for partnership and mutual access is really available and very clear. Across Malawi, young innovators, farmers, and entrepreneurs are creating incredible products and services. Many are already reaching markets in Scotland. What is needed now are partners who will walk this journey together, open doors, and invest in this shared future. The same is true for Malawi's tourism sector. Malawi is a beautiful, peaceful country with extraordinary natural landscapes, with rich cultural heritage, and some of the friendliest people in the world. Travelers seeking meaningful and responsible experiences will find a warm welcome in Malawi. Investment opportunities in this sector are also numerous, open, and ready for exploration. The Malawi High Commission stands ready to support and guide all prospective investors, businesses, and partners. Every effort will be made to ensure that this journey into Malawi is smooth, rewarding, and also successful. So today is not just about talking, but it's about building. It is about creating partnerships that are long-lasting and grounded in mutual prosperity. Malawi is offering an opportunity for shared growth. Let us seize it together and let's prosper together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Deputy, High Commissioner. It seems as if technology is failing the minister. So those of you within the tech sector, I think that's another opportunity for you to leverage on, because by now it should have been online. So that's something that we need to explore and discuss offline to see how we can make Malawi a 5G nation with full fiber coverage. Right, at this juncture, as we're waiting for the minister to join, I would like us to take a few steps backwards to when we launched the chamber in London, and His Excellency, the President of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, made a few remarks. So in the interest of those that might have missed that inaugural event, I'd like us just to go through a video which is less than 3 minutes by His Excellency, the President of Malawi.
Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, this is an historic day. As Malawi seeks to increase trade with the United Kingdom, I must congratulate Malawi UK Business Group for this milestone. But now, the real work must begin. As Malawi government, we have made great strides to widen the door of trade between our country and the United Kingdom, not only to leverage the development partnership we have had since independence, but also to maximize our membership in the Commonwealth. For example, we have been pushing aggressively for the implementation of the National Export Strategy 2, National Services Export Strategy, National Trade Policy, National Industrial Policy, Tourism Master Plan, and the National Agricultural Investment Plan, all to ensure that the preferential market access that Malawi has to the UK is put to good use. We have also simplified and streamlined business initiation procedures and continue building a conducive environment for business and private sector growth. This includes an online platform for registering businesses and reducing the period within which a business registration certificate is issued to 5 days. Processing a business residence permit takes 5 days. Processing a temporary residence permit takes 5 days. Registration and filing of taxes can now be done online. And to consolidate these gains, we have created a one-stop service center through the Malawi Investment and Trade Center to end the runaround that investors go through. Now, these are the things that the Malawi UK Chamber of Commerce must take full advantage of. And so I welcome its incorporation as a Chamber of Commerce in the United Kingdom with great joy. God bless Malawi.
Thank you very much. Those were remarks made by His Excellency, the President of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. Today is an exciting day. When you plan things perfectly, on the day, things don't work as planned, such as the minister joining. but we're leveraging other technology. Fingers crossed he'll be joining us either virtually or he will send us a video. So on that note, since we started, watching the video, I would like us to watch real business examples of businesses that are doing or trading in Malawi, just to have a flavor of some of the things that are currently happening between Scotland and Malawi. So do you mind just running a few videos, maybe starting off with True Origin, Tracy, Mitchell?
She's here in person.
Oh, so you just saw.
Yes.
I tell you what, I just love the video. So Tracy, do you want to record yourself and I play it afterwards? Do you want to come forward? Just a brief overview of what you do. I know we'll be having the panel session, but I felt like just share high-level details of what you do.
Thank you. I am here in person and I am very tall. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk briefly about True Origin. For as long as I can remember, I have been interested in trade and believed in its power for transformation. Our involvement with Malawi goes right back to 2008, when our founder attended a Trade Connections event at the Scottish Exhibition Centre. Working then with Imani Development on a Scottish Government-funded project, Just Trading Scotland was formed. And we started importing a variety of fairly traded products from Malawi. Just Trading Scotland rebranded to True Origin in 2023, reflecting our mission to have true impact at origin. All through the last 16 years, we've been importing the wonderful Pull&Bearer rice from Nasfam, grown by the smallholder farmers of Kasfa, the Kapora Smallholder Farmers Association in the Karonga region of northern Malawi. The rice is Great Taste Award-winning in the UK and has been rated as the most ethical rice on the market in the UK. When the chair of our board steps down in March this year, we calculated that in her 6 years in post, we'd sold about 245 tonnes of rice, or almost 5 million 50-gram servings. Starting back in 2009 with a container of rice on the seas, I was tasked with developing an initial marketing plan without a marketing background. That led to the development of something called the 90-kilo challenge. 90 kilos being the amount of rice that would provide a Malawian rice farmer with enough of a sustainable income to enable them to invest in their farm, feed and clothe their family, and most importantly, pay for a year's secondary education for one child. This became a fantastic way to introduce people to the wonderful product and a very visual way of demonstrating the benefits of fair trade. Almost 2,000 groups have undertaken the challenge across the UK. A trend although take-up has reduced substantially since COVID, a trend that we would very much like to reverse. The market has grown considerably over the years. Many fair trade shops across the whole of the UK sell our rice, and not just fair trade shops. I have personally delivered rice to a farm shop just outside Penzance. And for a few years, Edinburgh University were using Pull&Bearer rice as their only rice. For a while, we had a listing in the Co-op Group stores here in Scotland as part of their initiative to support local suppliers, us being the local supplier, clearly not the rice farmers. This came out of some sustained work undertaken by their community team in the lead up to Scotland becoming a fair trade nation. And that work included a series of brilliant cookery demos across Scotland, showcasing the rice and its versatility. 3 years ago, we were thrilled to be asked to be part of Central Co-op's pioneering Our Malawi Partnership initiative, which has seen the rice and a variety of other products listed in all their stores in central England. Whilst Kilimanjaro rice is already easily available through our own growing online shop, having a listing in a mainstream supermarket with stores across a whole region brings the product to the attention of many, many more people than we could possibly reach ourselves. We're pleased through our parent charity, the Balmoral Trust, now known as True Origin Partnerships, that we've been able to work alongside the farmers in Karonga, responding to their needs and supporting them as they develop. Through another Scottish Government funded project, we jointly improved the availability of quality seed, an initiative that's had great long-term benefits, and I have copies of the report with me today if anyone would like one. We've supported a group of women farmers as they have developed rice briquettes using waste from rice processing to create fuel. More recently, we've worked with them as they've registered those initiatives as cooperative businesses in their own right. We've supported the farmers with tarpaulins for drying the rice, ox carts and ploughs, irrigation pumps, and with achieving World Fair Trade Organization guaranteed status. Having said all this positive stuff, I need to balance this with sharing some of the challenges. Shipping from a landlocked country has proved at times extremely hard. Getting the right packaging to ship the product has proved hard. The cost price of the rice is really high compared with East Asian rice. Impacts of exchange rates can be really challenging. We've had issues with the quality of the rice in terms of compared with UK food standards, and we've had to spend a lot of money processing the rice in the UK. Possibly most importantly, we find it hard to convince people sales in Central Co-op not good as they would have liked. People need a reason to spend a reasonable amount of money on a bag of rice when they're used to buying whatever normal rice they buy. It's honestly very hard work. Making this work commercially is difficult. I'm really looking forward to hearing other people's experiences and to understanding how the High Commission, the Chamber of Commerce can support us in making this supply chain sustainable over the coming years. We love working with the farmers in Malawi. We'd love to carry on working with them and make it a much bigger trade initiative. Thank you.
You know, she's too tall, she's put the mic where I can reach. Right, you know, the points that you flagged up will not respond to each and every one of them here, but all I can say is the Chamber is here to exactly support with such issues. I know we had a conversation earlier on, and we're having an offline conversation. But just to give you a heads up, the FCDO, the British government department, through the British Embassy in Malawi, they're actually looking into helping reduce some of these bottlenecks that you've just highlighted. And it's good that you flag them up. We're not here to promote Malawi as a place where issues operationally are not present. Hence, the Chamber being here to play the lobbying part and to understand your needs and wants and work in partnership with the High Commission to feed honest feedback to the powers that be to ensure that the poor people in Malawi, it's not the politicians, it's not some of the well-off people who are in business, but the common man in Malawi, the socio-economic welfare is greatly enhanced. On that note, Bob, I know you've been writing copious notes, but Bob is the Managing Director of African Lead Company. Can you please share your experience trading in Malawi, focusing on the positives? No, I'm joking. You can include the negatives as well. Over to you, Bob.
How long do you want?
2 days, please.
I can fill it.
No, 5 minutes. Please.
Thank you very much. The original African Lakes Company was formed in the 1880s. Two young men, John and Frederick Moyer, heard Dr. David Livingstone speak about slavery at, I think it was at Glasgow University. And Livingstone was quite a good speaker. He would hand round the yokes that people had put around their necks, handed it round the meeting room. And when people could feel the weight of this and touch something that had been on the neck of a slave, they were moved. And he did this very effectively, and it moved John and Frederick Moyer, who could have gone on to various careers in the UK, I guess, in Scotland, but they were inspired to set up what became called the African Lakes Company, which was set up to trade with the mission stations, mainly Church of Scotland, Free Church of Scotland, Anglican, and Church of England, and the South African mission in the Nkoma region, in Central region. And the real motivation for the original company was to eradicate slavery through trade. That was their absolute purpose. They didn't actually, they made a big impact on eradicating slavery through trade, but they made a bigger impact by actually going to war with the slavers and hiring various Glaswegian shipyard workers to get on a boat and sail to the north of the country in the 1880s and go to war with Mallozy. So that was the original African Lakes Company. The archive is in Glasgow University, if any of you are moved to go and see it. It's a fantastic archive. I went to see it. I went back 2 years later, and I think I was the last person who'd been to see it. So it really is something I would highly recommend. You can handle the minute books from the 1880s, 1890s, 1900s. It's just a fantastic source of material. Many PhDs are lurking in there if any of you like these kind of things. So my own journey was different to the Moyers, obviously. I'm a little younger. I'd worked first of all with the Church of Scotland at Likabula House in Mulanje, then with OIBM and Francis Prella Kamoyo in microfinance in Malawi. And I was a little frustrated that things were not changing quickly enough, and that people I'd known from 1987 were still selling bananas in the market in Mulanje almost 30 years later. So I thought that vast aid spend should have achieved more than that. So we trialled the idea of reviving the old African Lakes Company, taking its motto of eradicating slavery through trade and turning it a little bit to say we'll eradicate aid dependence and we'd focus on bringing more investment into the country. And we've worked hard at that now for the last 7 or 8 years since we launched the company in originally trialled it in 2012 when Joyce Banda was here on a visit, which I can speak about at some length if provoked. And then we launched the company formally in 2017, looking at making investments in Malawian companies. And we've been doing that. We've been, I think, fairly successful. We've been successful at attracting private capital into investment in Malawi. Now, the Scotland-Malawi Partnership, lots of us for years have said we want to broaden civil society engagement with Malawi. Well, we've done that, but that has tended to mean schools, churches, all the usual suspects that like to get involved in other people's countries. We didn't really address the investment community in Scotland, the business community in Scotland, and we've tried hard to do that. And that's been quite interesting, and because it brings up a conflict that these are matters for a bigger discussion than this one, I think, where we were launching African Lakes Company, encouraging people to invest their own money in a company that makes investments in Malawian companies. And at the same time, some big NGOs in the UK were saying, Malawi's starving, there's a famine, there's a flood, there's a problem. And I had the potential investors phoning up saying, hang on a minute, we're going to give you £200,000 for this. What the hell's happening? I think it's as bad as it sounds. So you have the constant tension between the aid industry trying to present a story that brings in donor money on the one hand, on the other hand, trying to present a safe good investment destination. And there really is a tension between these two because the needs are real. The donor agencies aren't making it up. But investors also need a certain measure of confidence that they can invest and get a return on their investment. So there really is a very, very important tension there. And it's good in a chamber like this, I think we can acknowledge that tension and think about it and be creative about how we address that. So that's, I've used up my time. Thank you.
Wow, brilliant, Bobby. And I think we'll continue the conversation because it seems as if you are still the perfect person to head up or represent us, this side. But let's have a conversation offline because you're right. Eradicating aid and encouraging investment, that's the way forward because the other route in the current climate is not sustainable. At this juncture, may I please request for Cameron to come forward? He's from MF Coffee Project.
Yep.
So I'll let you tell us about what you do. Over to you.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give you kind of a breakdown of what we've been up to this past almost decade with MF Coffee Project. So, ladies and gentlemen, and honorable ministers and members of the Scotland-Malawi Partnership, my name is Cameron McAllister, and from 2012 to 2020, I lived in northern Malawi, where I ran an off-grid eco-lodge called the Mushroom Farm in Manchewe village. During that time, I co-founded Chibaka Power, a community-run hydroelectric project that now provides clean and renewable electricity to over 150 homes, multiple businesses, the local primary school, and the local police station, all powered by the waters of Manchewe Falls. Whilst living in Malawi, I worked closely with smallholder coffee farmers, and I saw firsthand the immense challenges they face: unpredictable rainfall, shrinking yields, and low market returns. Many were walking away from coffee altogether without access to infrastructure, reliable buyers, or fair pricing. Farming felt like a losing battle for many smallholder farmers. At the same time, I clearly saw the global coffee trade was skewed. Malawi grows incredible coffee, but the real value is extracted elsewhere. Roasting, branding, and retail all happen in the global north. As a result, less than 10% of coffee's 200 billion pound global value stays in producing countries. And that's not right. Our response: we created MF Coffee Project, the MF stands for Manchewe Falls, to rewrite that story and to build a coffee ecosystem that is traceable, ethical, and beneficial to Malawi from the ground up. Working with smallholder farmers. We work directly with smallholder farmers, paying premium prices for quality cherries and investing in processing infrastructure at origin. Our operations are transparent and traceable, in line with the Vision 2063's calls for agricultural productivity and commercialization through innovation and technology. Creating a market for Malawian coffee in the UK. In 2020, I moved to Scotland and immersed myself in the entire coffee supply chain, from roasting to importing, barista work to branding. In 2022, I opened MF Coffee Shop, where we sell 100% Malawian coffee, sourced directly from the farmers we work with in northern Malawi. Our cafe was recently awarded Edinburgh's Best Coffee Shop, and now we're up for Scotland's Best Coffee Shop. In addition to the cafe, we sell retail coffee through shops, wholesale coffee to coffee outlets and cafes, and direct to consumer online. All of this is helping to build a real and sustainable market for Malawian specialty coffee in the UK. Currently, we import raw green beans and roast them in the UK, but this year that changes. We will begin importing African roasted coffee with the goal of shifting value back to Malawi over time. We focus exclusively on the specialty coffee sector, where quality, processing, and storytelling matters. The UK specialty market alone is worth £2.2 billion, and Malawian coffee deserves rightful place within that. This approach supports Vision 2063 strategy for promoting high-value crops in niche export markets. Each month, we reinvest profits from Scotland directly into Malawi. Right now, that means training a small team of young people in Manchewe to roast, grade, and package coffee, We're setting up a local roasted coffee brand for the domestic market. Look out for us in ShopRite and lodges around Malawi as well. Climate crisis and the need for a model farm. Over the past 2 decades, climate change has taken a toll on northern Malawi. Rain patterns have changed and coffee yields are down. Without urgent adaptation, coffee could disappear from the region entirely. That's why we're working to establish a model farm focused on climate smart techniques like irrigation, shade growing, and organic inputs, built to train farmers, test methods, and demonstrate success. Designed to produce traceable specialty grade coffee for international markets. This directly supports Vision 2063's priorities around sustainable irrigation, climate smart agriculture, and lifting rural areas out of subsistence farming. Roasting vision from proof to practice. Later this year, we'll export green coffee, green beans from Malawi to African coffee roasters in Kenya, who will roast, package, and export finished coffee to us in the UK. African Coffee Roasters, or ACR, is a groundbreaking model backed by the Danish government that keeps 55% of coffee's retail value in East Africa, sources from smallholders, and roasts and ships coffee at origin. This will be our proof of concept that African roasted specialty coffee can meet the global quality standards and be successfully marketed in Europe. Once we scale to 20,000 kgs per year in UK sales, we can plan to build our own roasting facility in Malawi, powered by Chibaka hydroelectricity, operated by Malawians and integrated directly into our local supply chain, creating jobs in roasting, packaging, and logistics. Connecting the dots. Our work is the real world embodiment of Vision 2063, an optimally productive and commercialized agriculture sector, diversification into strategic crops for export, sustainable irrigation infrastructure to improve resilience. We are building exactly what Vision 2063 calls for: industrial linkages, rural SMEs, and the competitive value-added export sector. 3 asks from today. We ask that you support export logistics for African roasted coffee. We need help with formalizing legal documentation and custom processing. Collaborate on training and model farm design. We welcome guidance and participation from your ministry. And we ask that let's stay connected post-event. We are keen to share impact data, co-develop incentive schemes, and work toward a shared vision. We believe that Malawi can do more than grow great coffee. It can lead a new fair model for the global trade, one where value stays closer to the soil it was grown from, one where young people are trained, farmers are empowered, and rural communities grow stronger with every bag sold. We're not here to ask for charity or aid. We are here to build something sustainable, practical, and proudly Malawian. Let's work together to make this a reality, to move from words to action, from vision to implementation. So thank you.
Thank you. Have you brought any of the coffee samples, Cameron?
Unfortunately, I didn't. But our coffee shop is just around the corner.
Around the corner.
I knew that.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I think the idea of roasting in Kenya, as much as it sounds good, the sooner we do everything in Malawi, the better. Right, so we've got one video that we need to play. That's from, is it Tiderise?
Mm-hmm. We'll have Cecilia Mkondiwa, the Managing Director of Operations.
Cecilia Mkondiwa, the Managing Director. Then as soon as we finish that video, we'll go to the panel sessions. And be rest assured that you'll be given the opportunity to ask questions as well.
The Malawi UK Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much for having Tiderise Technologies be part of this event today. My name is Cecilia Mkondiwa. I'm the Managing Director for Tiderise Malawi. We have been around for 5 years, and our mandate is to create employment for the young, talented, educated Malawians. I think most of you are aware about the lack of employment in Malawi, lack of employment opportunities, I should say. And we are there to try and bridge that gap so that we can provide opportunities to these young people who are honestly very, very talented. How we do that is we hire top talent from universities, we train those people, we work with them on creating leadership skills and developing their leadership skills, and we present that talent to our clients who are looking for people to work with them and be part of their team. So we call that an extension of their team. And some of the jobs that we're doing for our clients are like accounting, we are doing systems engineering support, research work, data analytics, we are doing admin work, research again, I mentioned research already, legal support, and just data processing. There's a lot of things that we're able to do for our clients. We have no shortage of talent in Malawi to provide various services. So why our clients come to us is basically they want to scale their businesses. They want a trusted partner who will work with them to scale their business at a good reduced cost, and they're able to get that from us. We pay our team members very well with very competitive salaries in Malawi, but the clients are also able to save on costs and get very good talented people to do their work, and they produce work that's globally accepted. They're able to compete on the global scene, which is amazing. It's really great to know that we have such talent in Malawi and we can compete throughout Europe and North America. Most of our clients are from North America and Europe, and it's been such a great journey for our team members in Malawi to work hand in hand with the clients in these regions, learning a lot, sharing cultural differences, and just growing together with the companies. So the impact to the communities they live in is undescribable. I've seen young people pay tuition fees for their siblings. I've seen them support their parents. I've seen them change. I've seen them gain a lot of confidence because now they're able to earn a living and they're learning new skills, and they're very proud, and we look at them and we're also very proud of them and the work that they're doing. And when we get our clients happy and they say, oh wow, we should have known about this a long time ago, it makes us smile. It's a win-win for our clients, it's a win for Malawi, it's a win for the young people that we're working with. So I believe that Malawi's greatest export is not in agricultural produce, but it's human potential, talented, English-speaking, hardworking professionals who simply need the right platform to shine. And Tiderise is one of the organizations offering that kind of platform. So far, I think we are the first ones to do this in Malawi. We've had a visit from the Minister of Labor before, and she was really, really impressed and surprised that there was this industry blooming in Malawi. And we want to grow this to different districts in Malawi. We don't want to just be in Lilongwe, we want to really grow this company. So with everybody's support, share the word about Tiderise and the work we are doing. If you're ever in Malawi, please come and visit us at our offices in Lilongwe. We'll be so happy to host you and show you around. Meet our wonderful team there. For clients or anybody who wants to work with us, it's great to know that you're not just getting support from the people that you hire. Behind that, we have a team of HR team, we have a training team, you have a operations team. These people are supported strongly to make sure that they deliver the best results to our clients. So very exciting work, and so thank you again for having us. Would like to chat with you, anybody who is interested. You can get the contact information from the organizers. It would be great to just catch up, chat with you, and give you more information about Tiderise. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.
Right, that's the last person I hear in the front line. I believe they'll be surprised again sooner or later, but in the interest of time, we need to segue into the first panel section. May I please call Tracy forward? And Bobby, you're part of it as well. Is Sean in the building? Yeah, there you go, Sean. Cameron, please make your way forward. And Shakira from the High Commission. just for your own benefits, I know the program is on the table or on the chair, as it were. This panel session will focus on exploring the opportunities in Malawi and also tapping into the experiences of those that walk the journey in Malawi. And if you've got any burning question to any of the panelists, please do jot it down. We'll have a Q&A session where such questions can be targeted to the panelists or officials from the High Commission. So, I think, have we got a mic?
Yes, yeah.
Those of you that have already introduced yourself, I think you can just say who you are, just your name again. Then those that haven't, please just give a brief overview in the interest of time. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Tracy Mitchell, True Origin.
Bobby Anderson. Hi folks, I'm Sean McLaughlin, Business Development and Partnerships Director for the Challenges Group. So we're an enterprise support organisation. We worked in Malawi around 2012, setting up an office in 2014. So it's a lot of work recently.
Good afternoon, I'm Cecilia. I'm the trade attaché at the Malawi High Commission. So my role mostly promote trade between Malawi and UK, and I'm also responsible for a number of countries in the European Union.
I'm McAllister of MF Coffee Projects.
Right. Okay. Oh, you're holding the mic, so I might as well start with you. Cameron, what role has traceability, quality assurance, and storytelling played in marketing Malawi's coffee internationally?
Well, as I kind of mentioned in my speech, we deal in what's called specialty coffee, which is kind of beyond the commodity profit. It's all about storytelling. It's all about origin. It's all about the processing technique that was used when the coffee curries were taken to the washing station, how they were processed, how they were dried, and as you can imagine, the coffee scene in Edinburgh, in the UK in general, has moved so quickly over the past decade, over the past 2 decades, and has really become such a world in and of itself. And to gain any sort of traction in marketing a coffee from anywhere in the region, you really need to tell the story of where it came from, to be able to point to the farmers who grew it, to be able to point to how it was processed, to be able to point to when exactly it was harvested. So I would say that for marketing, it's entirely about storytelling when it comes to coffee in the UK. And Malawi does have an advantage because it's not a common coffee that you see around the UK. It's actually very uncommon. When I tell people I work with Malawian coffee, even in the specialty world, they're kind of surprised. They'll typically be the first Malawian coffee that they've actually come across, is the one that I give them to sample. So that is good and bad. That's people are very intrigued by it, but also a little bit kind of hesitant because they're wondering why isn't it more readily available.
Right. The work that you do in Cameroon is very commendable. Bringing the Malawi coffee to the UK markets and to the international audience. Do you mind just handing over the mic to Shakira? Because I'm just curious on behalf of, the people here, what your department, the Ministry of Trade, are doing from a trade facilitation reforms perspective to make Malawi a more attractive investment destination.
Thank you all. As a government, Malawi recognizes that there are a number of issues that needs to be addressed for trade to be facilitated and for investment to increase in Malawi. So the government has been implementing a number of reforms, and I'll just mention a few, but there are a lot of things, and I think you heard from the president on a number of issues that he had presented. The first one is the national single window. So the Ministry of Trade has just launched a national single window. For people that have experience on importing things from Malawi, you go around and round in the number of institutions that you need to send your permits and licenses. You need to obtain your permits and licenses from. However, we have launched the national single window, which is a single entry point. You don't need to run around. You can use that website, you can use that entry point, you submit your requirement, every institution will be able to get that information from you. So this will make your job easier and make sure that you get easy cutting costs and also making it easier for you to trade. For a long time, we used to have a number of institutions, about 11 or 12 institutions at the border. As such, you're required to obtain a number of documents. And we all understand when it comes to trade, we want it to be as seamless as possible. So the government has been implementing a coordinated border management to reduce the number of institutions. Initially, we proposed just 5, but with COVID, we realized that we cannot leave Ministry of Health out of the border. So now we're implementing 5+1. So other institutions that were at the border have delegated those powers to relevant institutions that can easily coordinate their jobs. For those that are following the news in Malawi, recently we launched the one-stop border post in Deza, but we also have another one in Uchinji. All this is to make sure that when you have your goods and you're trying to move from Malawi to the borders, you don't need to be checked in both sides. So you can be checked from the Malawi side and you can easily go, or you can be checked from Zambia if you're coming from Zambia, and that's it. That way it reduces the number, reduce the time it takes for you to clear your goods at the border. We have also launched the electronic certificate of origin, and we also do implement simplified trade regimes, which is just making sure that for SMEs, it's also easier for them to do trading with countries that are bordering Malawi. All this is just to make sure that it's easier for people, it's easier for importers, it's easier for exporters to do trade. We understand there are a number of issues, I mean, we need to address it, but this is a very good step moving forward. Thank you.
All right, brilliant. So do you mind handing the mic to Sean? You've succinctly, say that you work with enterprises in emerging markets. What models of blended finance or enterprise support have proven most effective in Malawi?
So I think one of the projects that we've worked on that's been most effective is called our TROPS project. So that's working within the value addition centres in Malawi. And I suppose the lead into that project, some of the problems that we've talked about today in terms of traditional aid and traditional development finance caused the need for that project. So there's a huge investment in 8 or 11 value addition centres throughout Malawi. There was no forward planning or sustainability models put in place. So there was no work with the local communities to create an aggregation centre and an organisation that would manage that in the long term. So there's a huge investment in the buildings, the capital expenditure, etc., but no sort of forward planning completed. So those various addition centres went into disrepair, they went into disuse. So Challenges have worked with 4 of them over the last 7 years to support cooperative development, the smallholder farmers be able to work more cohesively together and start to turn those into viable business models. So we're looking at creating a social enterprise that's focused on managing the aggregation of the produce and getting that to market. I think one of the areas that we've seen is very effective is if we have a local team. So there's 12, 15 local staff that we've trained as technical consultants in various different fields. that can work then in the long term with those smallholder farmers that have connections with international buyers. We've also worked in partnership with international organisations, been able to have that sort of collaborative approach that's been already mentioned, I think is really important. I think some of the challenges have been identified in terms of access to market and how formal enterprises are in Malawi. So trying to overcome the challenges of getting to an international market and taking the time to do that has been proven to be quite effective in Malawi.
That's a question, Sean. In terms of the projects, what are the top three that you're dealing with?
Rice, maize, and pigeon feed, I think are the top three. But we've seen some really effective models. The project run by DFID, or at the time was the Business Innovation Facility. And one of the models that we're seeing that's really effective is utilising the crops project to access into proper business finance. So actually connecting into local institutions that can finance in the long term. So I think we've taken one of the examples that we're looking at in Ghana. So we're working with the Ghana Commercial Bank to create a loans product that's available to female entrepreneurs. That's again based on some of the brilliant work in Kenya with KCB. So they've managed to increase their loan book from £4 million for female agripreneurs and rural businesses and smallholder farmers from 4 million in 2017 up to close to 1 billion for this year. So that's a 25,000% increase in informal trade and finance. So being able to build new banks, being able to make those connections, using aid as a bridge rather than an outputs focused initiative, I think is quite critical. So how can that create the opportunity to build skills? I think as the lady was chatting earlier in terms of how can we build the local capacity of young people and those who are entering the market, how can we work with different institutes like Amani Business Institute or with challenges to build the capacity locally. I think one of the other initiatives that we're seeing is the focus on enterprise support organisations having financing investments to build their skills and capacity so they can further help enterprise, and then using that development finance to actually build bridges into proper business finance and international trade linkages.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. And Bobby, at the back of Sean's brilliant explanation of some of the issues and opportunities, what do you think are the hot current opportunities in Malawi that UK businesses should pay attention to? I know Violet will be presenting after this session a list of opportunities that are currently available, but from your perspective, what are the opportunities that we should pay attention to?
Okay, in 2022, we commissioned a report from a team of accountants in Malawi, based in Blantyre, looking to give us an idea of a pipeline of investment opportunities. I think it ended up running to about 80 pages. We were wanting to share it more widely to discuss, and I realised that we signed non-disclosure agreements with several of the companies involved in it, so we didn't get permission to share it. So we had a sort of redacted version that we worked on, which we shared with the Scottish Government at the time. And we're working on a better version that we can share with MITC and our friends in Old Mutual and other institutions in Malawi. There were dozens of good investment opportunities, and the accountants put numbers on them, so the minimum investment size, the maximum investment size, and we could find really quite good opportunities. A lot in macadamia, which is one that we've focused on. We can't look at them all, so it was important for us to think, what can we do well? Let's not try and look at everything at the same time. Let's try and look at something we understand and we can do well. So for us as African Lakes Company, we focused on macadamia. We had dipped our toes into crocodiles, which is a dangerous thing to do, into aquaculture, which I think is another great opportunity in Malawi, but we haven't followed through with that. We've got a small minority investment with David and Kwazi in near Cecilia, in what's called Senka Bay. in Malawi, and that's one that we watch with interest. To circle back a little bit, very briefly, we tried, like many people in Scotland and in other parts of the UK have tried, to project our thoughts into Malawi. And eventually, after wasting an awful lot of time and effort, we decided that was actually a bit of a wasted effort. And I've been asked this by some successive Scottish Government ministers, how do you think Scottish expertise can be useful? And I think that's crap. You know, it's nonsense. It doesn't have to be Scottish expertise that's useful. It's what does Malawi want to ask for? What do they want? What do they need? What are they doing? And we need to recognise that and acknowledge it, not try to project our own ideas into someone else's country. So I've had a long and wearying journey through patronising other people. So I apologise. So we've now got a new partnership we're working hard on with National Bank of Malawi and their development bank to do equity and debt for small businesses run by women and young people in rural areas. But I won't decide. The National Bank Development Bank has a great deal of expertise. It will be all run by Malawians in Malawi who can visit and sort things out and help people and so on. We're trying to raise some capital for that, and that capital will be matched by National Bank of Malawi. So that's the sort of model I think works well. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what sort of businesses they'll invest in, but I do know that it will be Malawian-led with expertise rather than with bright ideas from me. One thing we have done that I think has been useful, we had this in a conversation with Edith, Gia and Harold Gia, as it happened from two different institutions, but the one family. And the archangels people in Edinburgh who are what you call archangels, angel investors, yes. And looking at whether there's something in that angel investor model that was one of the world's first is based here in Edinburgh. So seeing if we can draw on that expertise and bring that into Malawi and see whether it works or not. But from doing that, we don't say, this is what you must do. We say, here's an idea that worked for us. What do you think? And take it or leave it. So some people have had a look at it. Some people think it doesn't work. It's not going to work. Some people think it might. That'll be up to them to decide. We can just assemble the experience and lay it on the table and say, you do what you like. That's I've talked too much.
No, that's fine. I think Tracy, you've been waiting to jump on the mic, and I think your business, based on your presentation earlier, champions ethical sourcing. What lessons have you learned from building sustainable supply chains across borders?
Okay, there's obviously a lot in that question, and I guess one of the things that's I've been involved in the business since it started, but only in this role for a few years. I think one of the things that is really clear is that doing business ethically is quite hard work, and it's hard to. It's not cheap to do business ethically. To really pay people what they deserve to be paid along the supply chain means that the product, when it lands here, isn't in the cheap value range side of things. And we need to work hard at, I think I mentioned it earlier, but encouraging people that the product is good quality and worth paying more for. Cameron, you talked about speciality coffee. This is almost speciality rice. It's a premium rice. It's not going to ever come close to a Tesco's value range or whatever. And yet it's not a well-known rice, and even the idea of premium rice isn't that well known. So I think thinking more about how we move from, we've got a lot of people that are really committed to Patemba rice that are in the ethical sort of shopper category. We need to move beyond that to make this a more sustainable, a bigger supply chain, and to be buying more rice. We need to move beyond people whom the primary reason for buying is that it's ethical, and move into a wider audience where there are people that are interested in the quality of the food and for whom the ethics is a an additional reason that sort of reinforces the decision to buy Kilombero rice rather than being the reason to buy in the first place. And I think that's an interesting challenge for us over the coming months and years, and one that we have started working on. I think for too long, we spent a lot of time trying to persuade schools and churches and the whole sort of ethical, maybe sort of civil society sector to buy the rice. And we still want them to do that, but we need to go beyond that if this is going to be real trade. I think the other thing that's really hit me, or just from sitting in this meeting this afternoon, is that we are a tiny team based in Paisley, working not just on Kilombero rice, but products from other countries across Africa. And we're probably not connecting well enough into networks that are out there that could help us, essentially.
Of course, I agree, and that's why the chamber is here. And I think one of the reasons of such gatherings is for us to network. And we'll have an hour after the official bits and pieces for us to get to know each other and network. I know time is running out, but just for 1 minute at the back of the point you've raised, what's your one quick win recommendation to a Scotland or UK-based investor interested in Malawi today?
I think trade, focus on trade and not aid is, it's a message that's been coming up, and obviously for an investor that's relevant anyway. And I think about, particularly for the trade where it's about exporting the products, think about the UK market that you're going to be bringing those products into.
Okay, Bobby, same question to you.
One quick win.
Yeah, my recommendation. If I was to invest in Malawi, what would you say?
Actually invest to an existing Malawian financial institution.
Very good. Okay, Sean.
Thank you. I think I was struggling for quick wins, but listening to today, I think probably the quickest win is to map out who's currently doing what, where does that sit, and then try and build on that rather than create something new. I think often people try and fix a problem thinking it's an innovation or thinking they're solving a problem. Whereas if you can build on what Bobby's doing and what the team are doing, I think that's a much more pragmatic way to do it.
Yeah.
So another few of these events to let people talk about what they're doing and where there can be connections, whether it's access to matching finance or skills or trade.
Yeah. And on that point as well, as the chamber, we'll be looking into running a bit more distilled versions, because I know there's been a lot of listening and talking today, but we need to move towards the business engagements, talking trade rather than hearing from each other and some, just listening. So over to you, one quick win, Shakira.
For me, it would be partnerships. I think that has been said a lot. And if it be one sector, agriculture and co-processing, there's a lot that is happening. I think that just needs validation.
Right, over to you, Cameron.
Yeah, I think I can just agree what everybody, all my friends here on the panel have already outlined as to what would be my answer as well, is to look for what's already existing, agro-processing, and that for anybody going into investment in Malawi, it's going to be a very fun thing to do.
Yeah. Right, a big round of applause to the panelists. I guess we have more time, but we need to move on. And may I please, you can be seated. Thank you. May I please call Violet Chakwera, who will give us a snapshot in terms of investment opportunities in Malawi. Over to you, Violet.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The chairman for UK Malawi Chamber of Commerce, the Deputy High Commissioner. Violet Chakwera, I'm the investment attaché at the Malawi High Commission. So I'm here to give you a market snapshot of Malawi so you can have a broader picture of what is there for you to invest in. Investment in Malawi. I have to next slide, please. Oh, okay.
One thing.
So I'm sure you've heard from a lot of people referring to the vision of Malawi 2063. They've talked about several things. I would just want to highlight the pillars of the Malawi Vision 2063. The three pillars that we're looking into are agricultural productivity and commercialization. In this pillar, we are aiming to enhance our agricultural productivity. Diversifying the agricultural sector and increase access to the agricultural finance. And the second pillar is industrialization, where we want to revamp the manufacturing drive and encourage the private sector participation, because we really need to do the value add right there in Malawi. Like you heard that some are working to getting the coffee beans from Malawi and do it in Kenya, but we want to do it right in Malawi. So that's one of the pillars that we have in our vision for Malawi 2063. And the third pillar is urbanization. In urbanization, we want to develop and implement strategies that will facilitate urban development and creating secondary cities. Because as a country, we've really had not much cities that are able to do more. We only have a few, but we want to be sure to develop more secondary cities so we can grow. Why invest in Malawi? Malawi is one of the, we call it the warm heart of Africa. It's one of the friendliest countries you can find in Africa. And it is a blessed nation because we've really never had any wars or any tribal wars. So it's a low political risk scope. And it has a vast and explored investment opportunities. We have attractive incentives if you want to come and invest in Malawi. We have a streamlined investment processes whereby we have what we call a one-stop center, the Malawi Investment and Trade Center, which helps you to do all the necessary arrangements for you to invest in Malawi at one place. And we also have the regional and international market access, and also a low-cost labor force. Malawi as a country, most of us are youth with potential, so we have low-cost labor force because we have more youth as a country. Investment opportunities areas, our main focus now as a country is what we have in what we're calling ATMM strategy, which is focusing on agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing. In agriculture, we're working on working with mega farms, value addition, irrigation farming, and agricultural financing. We want to focus on medium-scale agriculture as much as we can, so we're able to produce more and be able to export more, so that we're able to even raise our GDP, because at the moment, it's 80% of our GDP comes from agriculture. And we're focusing also in tourism, because Malawi is such a beautiful country which has a lot of places that if you want to come and see it, you will enjoy it. We have the lake, which runs all the way from the north down to south, Lake Malawi. And we want to focus on ecotourism as well, construction and management of hotels, water sporting facilities, sports tourism. We actually have a compendium of infrastructure projects that we have come up with, so that you can be able to see and maybe invest in one or two of those projects. that we have already done. And in mining and extractives, we want investors in exploration and mining. We have realized that Malawi is one of those countries that the Lord has blessed a lot, because we have a lot of minerals in Malawi that have not yet been explored. We have a large deposit of rutile in the world, actually, and we have uranium, rare earth, which needs to be explored. So we need investors in the mining sector as well. And manufacturing is one thing that we also need as a country, because our like I had said, one of the pillars is industrialization. So manufacturing is one of our main priority areas that we are focusing into. So we're able to do beverages, pharmaceutical, fertilizer, light goods, textile, and garments right there in Malawi, because we also grow cotton. We also have other key investment areas, which are energy and infrastructure development. In energy, we're still looking into investing in hydro, because hydro is the main, but we're also looking into renewables. So solar, wind, geothermal, gas, waste to energy, that is one of the investment opportunities that you can invest in Malawi. We actually have good sun almost all year round. So solar is one of the first you can do. We have strong winds as well, and we already have places that we know we can do geothermal. That was already started, and we know where you can do that if you have to invest in geothermal as well. And also in infrastructure development. Malawi is a small country, yes, but we are not yet there in terms of infrastructure. So we really need investment in the transport sector, even in the water supply systems, and also in housing. It's not working. Oh. Yeah, so like I said, why invest in Malawi? One of the things I talked about was the tax incentives. I just want to highlight what we have. So on general incentives, we do it in all priority sectors. We have import duty and import VAT exemptions on importation of most machinery. We also have import duty and import VAT exemptions on import of special purpose vehicles, and losses carried forward up to 6 years. And we also have 100% capital allowance on cost of new or unused machinery. On agro-processing and power generation, we have a tax holiday of up to 10 years, and exemptions of duty on importation of capital goods and building materials. And for minimum investment capital of $5 million for agro-processing and $30 million for power generation. So on industrial rebate scheme on manufacturing, we have the import and exercise duty exemption of raw materials for designated manufacturing industries, but that is still payable at 16.5%. And on raw materials for the manufacturing of fertilizer, medicaments, and pharmaceuticals are both import and VAT-free under the scheme. I think that is all for now. Zikomo kwambiri.
Wow, I guess you're tired sitting down. Do you want a comfort break? You know, teas, coffees, and then after the comfort break, we'll have one quick panel session, then we'll open to the floor. You know, for any questions to all the speakers, you know, the officials from the High Commission, the chairman from the chamber. We'll have a good 15 to 20 or even 30 minutes of you know, asking questions, having conversations before we wrap up and delve into one-to-one networking. But so far, you've been a very good audience. Let's just go get hydrated. And we'll be back here in 15 minutes, which is 5 to 3. I'm being recorded now, so I need to be careful what I say. Right, as I stated earlier on, we were meant to be joined by the minister, but it seems as if wherever he is struggling to dial in, which, to be honest, it is disheartening because we would have loved, to have him here, but whatever's happening, it seems beyond, his control. But he thought, rather than just leaving us without saying hello, he's recorded a few remarks, and we decided not to listen to those remarks. We thought, Stuart, let's just all listen at the same time. So it's been loaded on the laptop, and whenever you're ready, Dorothea, press play, please.
Sorry, it will take a while.
It's not sharing here yet.
No, I know, that's why I stopped it. Oh, shoot. I thought it was finished. Sorry, apologies. I have to share online as well. So 2 seconds.
Greetings. My name is Engineer Vitumbiko Mumba, the Minister of Trade and Industry in Malawi. I was supposed to be with you today, but unfortunately I'm in China, where we also got another equally important event. I try my best to see if I can only attend yesterday so that I can fly to London and Scotland and be with you, but unfortunately it was not possible. So I just thought of sending you this video as a way of communicating with you. Know that I'm with you and I'm happy that you're meeting today, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you and from the ambassador, from the High Commissioner, Mr. Bisika, and also the Deputy High Commissioner, of the outcomes of your engagement today. Distinguished guests and also business leaders, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It is a great privilege and honor to address you today here, though I'm not there, but in Edinburgh, as we continue to have meaningful partnerships between Malawi and Scotland. My simple message is Malawi is ready and is open for business, especially investments that come from abroad. We need investment, nothing else but investment. Just a few days ago, we are opening the one-go border post. People call it one-stop border post, but our president and President Chapo of Mozambique said no, it cannot be a stop, it must be a one-go border post. And right there, I emphasized in my speech that for Malawi to grow economically, we need to look at trade and investment, nothing else, trade and investment. So Malawi is open and ready for business, and we're looking forward to more people getting interested in Malawi because there's several opportunities. Malawi is a country of immense potential and untapped opportunities in various areas. There's in terms of agriculture, we talk of mineral resources, renewable energy. There's potential in the renewable energy area, and again the tourism sector. And again, we've got a youthful and vibrant population. The youth need to be harnessed. Their energy, their holy anger need to be positively harnessed into something meaningful for our country. So all that is part of the resource that we have in our country that adds to whatever investors might want in our country. And these investments are immediate, they are real. All it needs us to collaborate, and we have a platform through Malawi Investment Trade Center, which is one-stop shop center, where you go there and you are able to get whatever you require to invest in Malawi. The investment certificate will be given from you there, registration certificate, as well as many other requirements that you need in our country for you to invest in Malawi. So we are looking not only at investments but also partnerships in various ways. We need to build industries. We need to transform people's lives. So in as much as we're looking for investment, we're also looking at partnerships in various and different forms as a country. And just to add, you see, under the leadership of Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, our president, we have embarked on a bold long-term agenda called Malawi 2063. Our national vision and development plan is that we build an inclusive, wealthy, and self-reliant nation. Our president always speaks about three things. Most of the time, when you listen carefully to the speeches, I listen carefully. It talks of wealth creation, job creation, and food security. Now, on wealth creation, you cannot create wealth without partnerships, without investments, without trade, without investments. So that's why we're calling many other people to come in with their investments, and we work together and move forward to achieve our Malawi 2063 vision, but at the same time also help the president achieve his major message of wealth creation, job creation, and food security. And central to the vision, Malawi 2063 vision, is the development of a strong private sector driven economy and industrialization, as well as export-led growth. We are a net importer. We need to start importing. Right now in China, I visited our pavilion, and people are scrambling for our rice, for our cow beans, for our for several agricultural products, and we have some minerals. Someone is adding value and cutting the gems, Mareta gems, and a lot of people scrambling for them because they need more from Malawi. So we need to export. We've got a lot of agricultural products and other minerals that we can export and generate the much required forex for our country. So we must realize that achieving all this is not just an ambition, but a proper business environment that is open and competitive and supportive. We have an open environment, and again it's competitive, and we have got a lot of instruments and structures to support our ambition, which helps the investor to have a smooth landing in Malawi. So we are working on several reforms which we have done so far, a lot of policies, strategies that were put in place, which I believe serious investors.
Have we got a second one?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You know that.
Job done so far, and little policy.
Apologies, I need to share it again.
Strategy that were put in place, which I believe serious investors and partners will find it very interesting once they are serious about investing or partnering with people in Malawi. We have improved the ease of doing this in Malawi by digitalizing company registration. In the past, a lot of paperwork, but now you can apply for company registration certificate while in the comfort of your homes. And again, you can investment approval can be done online. And again, we have got a national single window which we launched just to reduce bureaucracy in terms of application of import and export permits in our country. And it takes what you take 3-4 weeks now takes just about a few minutes, 10-15 minutes. You're done if you've got all the requirements. So we are doing whatever is possible to make sure that the environment for doing this in Malawi is not only safe but is good for anyone wanting to invest in Malawi. And apart from that, we have got what the President Chakwera has got what is called Presidential Delivery Unit, which follows through whatever investment coming through in Malawi, apart from other things. So if you're an investor or a partner, you've got a project that is got the government has got much interest on, or you want to invest in Malawi, the PDU will be monitoring, that's a Presidential Delivery Unit, will be monitoring your project, your investment, to make sure that all the bottlenecks that you might face are removed. And this is at presidential level. It is at presidential level. That shows how serious Malawi government is as far as wooing investors as well as partners is concerned, because this has started at presidential level, and that is what can give you a lot of comfort as far as investing in Malawi is concerned. We are also we have also industrial parks, economic zones that we have set up like in Mzuzu there, in Lilongwe Maguero. We've got in Blantyre, in Bangula. We've got special economic zones in Salima, where we want these zones to be export oriented, as well as we should have the custom warehouses there that whatever is being exported must be exported from that particular point. No need for taking your goods elsewhere to be cleared. No, clearing can be done right there at the special economic zone. So we are doing a lot, and we believe that all this is done with the spirit of being investor centric, partners in centric. We should be able to take care of your needs and what you want. So our doors are very open, processes are improving. We are open to advice and also critical, constructive criticism, and our policies are aligned to global best practices. And you benefit from the preferential market that we have as far as some regional markets are concerned, even international markets are concerned, including the African Continental Free Trade Area, SADC, COMESA, and the EU, and even so the USA, among others. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment to look at Malawi with fresh eyes, not what you've been seeing Malawi as before. Since Dr. Chakwera came that side and established the UK Chambers of Commerce, for UK Malawi Chamber of Commerce, a lot of things have been happening, and the president gave us instructions what needed to be done, and we're doing exactly that to make sure that his vision is fulfilled, and also what commitments made with you are followed to the later. So we are a land of opportunities. We are ready to work with serious partners and investors who believe it's sustainable and are ready, sustainable, inclusive growth. And I invite you to come invest in Malawi, grow with us. Let's build together, let's prosper together. And thank you very much. And at this point, I'll be handing over, and I invite the president to address you as well. Thank you very much. God bless you.
For you, we didn't listen to this area, hence is extending an invite to the president. But nevertheless, let's give a big round of applause for not giving up. He was meant to be here in person. He didn't manage to. He was meant to join us on time, virtually. He did manage to. But nevertheless, in the comfort of wherever he is, a room, he's recorded himself. So he needs to be commended. Another big round of applause. All right, at this juncture, let's quickly move on to the second panel that will look at the tourism sector in particular. This is a hybrid panel. We've got some of the panelists that will be joining us online, Kelly White and Dyson Banda, who's the tourism attaché. In the room, we've got Benjamin. Do you mind coming forward? And Newton, Dr. Newton Natupi. And we were meant to have one more, but because of unforeseen circumstances, they haven't been able to attend. I think I've got all the panelists here. So Benjamin, I think you've been handed the mic, so it'll be right and proper to start with you.
Thank you very much. So I'm Benjamin Carey. I'm a trustee of Scotland's International Development Alliance, which is a consortium of organisations involved in international development. My day job is running a consultancy in tourism. I do tourism strategies mainly for countries, governments, World Bank, and also advise individual businesses and communities.
My name is Newton Matupi. I was born in Malawi, educated in the UK. I decided to do some things in Malawi. The first thing I did was we formed a charity here. So we built a secondary school. In partnership with the government, we handed over the school to the government, but we're continuing to build the infrastructure for that. But just after that, we decided to build a lodge on Lake Malawi, by the lake. That opened about 19 months ago. Looking at Sue's my partner, so she's a joint owner of the business too. So I'll be talking today not about the school or anything else, but about tourism.
Right, so if you're talking about tourism and you're an avid golf player as well, and you're not talking about golf as well today. So from being a tourism investor, what has been your experience in investing in Malawi?
I'm going to be saying the opposite from what the panel earlier was saying. They're saying invest in something that already exists. We've traveled a lot, and we saw what is around Malawi, around Patemba, and there wasn't one thing that we would actually say we'll put our money in here. So we decided to actually create our own thing. Okay, so I guess this is the kind of risk that somebody accepts and chooses to do. Because if you can't find what you want to provide, then you have to create it, haven't you? So the reason we did our own thing rather than buy or invest in somebody else is because we wanted to create something slightly different. You know, all lodges look the same in Canada, all lodges have the same kind of thing. But we wanted a place where if you were traveling from the UK or from the US or anywhere in Europe, you wouldn't feel out of place. You would feel like the comfort that you have at home is there. So we have good beds, we have good linen, we've got air conditioning, we've got solar and everything. So, you know, the things that Malawi doesn't do very well, which is shortage of power, we try to overcome those. If we try to invest in somebody else's business, I don't think we'll achieve that. So unfortunately, it costs a lot of money, but we created a business that we're very proud of. So just to give you some background, this place is in Gondwe. Those who know Malawi, it's north of Malawi, it's by the lake. Do you want me to just explain what?
You know, yeah,
2 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give you an hour, not an hour. You know, 1 minute, 30 seconds, an hour.
You know, it's difficult to get there, but the people that come to us, they come to have a break. They come to get away from everything and be there. So to describe, if you're visiting us, you would be coming as if, you know, it's not a city. You'll be coming to the lake, going through villages, and it's a fishing village. In the morning you wake up, you will find that there are, you know, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:05 sometimes, around about that time, people that have been fishing all through the night, they're bringing out usipa, those of you who know usif. And in the afternoon, so 3 o'clock, 3:30, they bring out champo or batala. Yeah, so it's that kind of environment. So we try to fit in with what is naturally beautiful. That you go there, you buy the water, and the environment is just refreshing and beautiful.
Okay, brilliant. On that note, I think I'll move to our online colleagues. Kelly, considering you're the director of Malawi Travel marketing consortium, what do you see is or are the unique selling points of Malawi, from your experience?
Well, I think Malawi's in a very, very strong position at the moment for its tourism. I've been marketing Malawi as a tourist destination for over 20 years now, and akin to some of the stories that we've been hearing from other people on the panels, there have been challenges, and one of the main things for Malawi was that as an African destination, it always had a perceived weakness in terms of the safaris that it had to offer. Thankfully, as hopefully many people will be aware, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, there's been a huge transformation of Malawi's safari offerings down to African Parks Organization, which has come in and taken over the management of three now of Malawi's game parks. And so Malawi now finds itself in this sort of wonderful situation, really, that for many, many years, it didn't actually have the main thing that international tourists went to Africa for, which was high quality safari experiences. It's always had animals, and we've always argued very strongly that it gives a very intimate safari experience, but now it has the famed Big Five. It's got the things with teeth that everybody seems to want to go and see. And so it's in that strong position where it can now say, yes, we do have safaris. But I think allied to that is the fact that over the years, the market for African tourism has become, thankfully, a bit more sophisticated. And so it isn't just the animals that people are going out to see. They are interested in the culture, they're interested in the scenery, and everybody likes a bit of beach time as well. So Malawi's in this wonderful position where it's always had very rich cultural experiences, beautiful scenery, fabulous beaches on Lake Malawi. But because it didn't have the animals that people wanted to the same degree that the likes of Kenya, Tanzania, even its neighbor in Zambia had, it was a little bit thought of as not the place to go. Now it's got that, and it's got all the other things that people are now starting to look for and starting to appreciate from Africa. So it has pretty much everything. So I will happily tell everybody that it is the most complete destination in Africa because it has all of these things. If you look as well at the fact that it's small, it's easy to get around, English is widely spoken, it's very friendly. People are very much looking for somewhere that is off the beaten track and isn't a mass market, mass tourism destination. It's not suffering from over tourism by any stretch of the imagination. So it really is in a very, very strong position in terms of the tourism offering that it now has in the international market.
Right, you're a proper ambassador for the Malawi tourism sector. And I think I'll move over to you, Dyson. Can you please shed some light in terms of what the government's strategy is to leverage on some of the bits that Kelly has outlined? Over to you, Dyson.
Thank you. I think most of the previous speakers, I think, also highlighted that government has taken tourism as one of the priority sectors in the Malawi 2063 because of its potential to transform the livelihoods of Malawians, and because of its capacity to have low-hanging fruits. We find that even the younger generation moving into tourism to start up new companies that most of them are doing very well. So because of that potential, I can maybe categorize some of the things that the government is working on. I think the first one, which has already been touched on by Violet, is to do with tourism investment. And for that, I think we developed the 20-year tourism investment master plan, which is also looking
So waiting for Attaché to get back. I think we'll get back to the room. Benjamin, What would a successful and inclusive tourism economy look like for Malawi in the next 5 years?
It would involve, I'm going to start by talking about Malawi 2063, which is a really nice vision. However, it recognizes that there is a lot of urbanization in Malawi. But for me, the great opportunity for tourism is to stop urban migration. I've worked in lots of countries in Africa, but I think two case studies are perhaps most relevant. Rwanda recognized that tourism was the #1 export industry for the country and invested in enabling infrastructure, enabling broadband, enabling transport infrastructure. Often tourism is seen as people on holiday. Yes, it's people on holiday, but what it's about is enabling young people to have livelihoods in rural areas and not head off to the cities. What I'm really interested in is how you can create livelihoods for women and young people. I've been doing some work in Gambia recently, and there's massive migration, particularly of young men, to the coast. And what we've been doing is looking at hinterland tourism up the Gambia River and working with communities and looking at what's the enabling infrastructure. And the infrastructure isn't just physical infrastructure, but it's about how do you make it easier for local communities to develop tourism businesses that are attractive. And then it's also thinking about what else can be done for these communities. Yes, tourists can come and visit, but I'm talking to groups in Malawi about farming cooperatives, and of course the stuff about coffee and macadamias, but we're also talking about medicinal cannabis, which Malawi recognised, I think, 7 years ago, that this is a huge opportunity and approved it as a development sector for Malawi. And there are farmers who are really interested in developing this sector in Malawi. And there's huge interest from Europe, from the UK. What I'm interested in is that as an inclusive tourism destination, join the dots. Look at how you can use tourism as a driver of sustainable development to make a difference, particularly to women and young people in rural areas.
Right, that's brilliant. So I don't know whether Newton, you want to add a thing or two before?
Yes, I was going to add on that.
Yeah, you're fine. Go
on. As I said, where we are is quite remote. I mean, it's a long way from the cities, but we're trying to create a product that is attractive. And to do that, you need good people, and good people actually in the cities. So we're actually ending up paying a premium to get people to us to provide the same kind of product that the cities are providing, but maybe at a lower cost. We have got, how many employees? 24, 25 employees, and we're growing. And we are adding more infrastructure, etc. The jobs that we can, we can offer to locals, plenty, but to get a really good product, we're actually trying to attract people that are in cities to come to these rural areas. So, chefs, managers, people that can do a good job, that they speak English, good English, that they can do IT communication. So we're developing the rural areas, but bringing back people that are in cities. So just to add, this, tourism is not just about people being on holiday, it's also generating jobs. One of the things that we're looking at is to have a farm to the table program. So we know exactly what we're cooking and we're providing to our guests. We know where it's coming from. We know the whole chain that this is come through. Generally, most people go to supermarket and get, you don't know where it's coming from. Yeah, so you're quite right that tourism doesn't stand by itself. We have huge challenges like, I don't know, finding the people that have pizza in Gondwe, but fish and so on. But you'll find that to get simple things like mozzarella cheese, to get carrots, to get, so somehow we've got to connect these dots with the local communities, that we find suppliers that can grow for you and provide all these kind of products that is here. Anyway,
that's perfect. From an addition of critical gaps within the sector, which are the top 2, top 3, without expanding on them, in your view, which gaps do you think, if we're to enhance the tourism offer, in your view, the top 3, based on your experience?
Yeah, sure. One of them is infrastructure, communication. So transport and communication are pretty probably going to get to Malawi. It should take a short time, probably long way, but the roads are improving. So I think in maybe 2 years from now, that will improve. We're behind with telecommunication. Luckily, Elon Musk provides this wonderful tool, so we can actually link into it. So the two things, if I was to highlight, is infrastructure and connecting the dots. We could do a better job for our guests if we were able to get local supply, local produce to give to our guests rather than buying from a supermarket. Maybe some of these things come from South Africa or from wherever.
And maybe just to plead so-called challenges, to put a positive spin to them. This is why Violet highlighted those opportunities. So as much as this stands, they are a challenge, but they're also an opportunity for the investor to, 1, be part of the infrastructure development, 2, be part of the supply chain that feeds into some of the needs and wants of those operators within the lakeshore. Kelly, have you got anything to add, considering your vast experience within?
No, I mean, what I would say was certainly listening with interest, and I think it's quite clear that Dr. Matupi, as well as almost every lodge owner that I know in Malawi, is already working really closely with their local communities and supporting the local communities and providing great employment for the communities. They're involved in conservation work and that kind of thing. So I think that it's already there in the existing tourism setup within Malawi, that inherently most of these lodges and these tourism operators are already very valuable to the country as a whole. They're not just sort of taking their money and running. You don't set up a lodge in Malawi because you think you're going to get richer over it. You set up a lodge in Malawi because you love Malawi and you want to do something that's going to be beneficial to Malawians. So I think that's already there. It's just about growing the tourism industry so that there's more of that, and making sure that as it grows carefully and considerately, so that all of those things are hardwired into everything that grows, rather than anything coming in and trying to make a fast buck and do anything too quickly, and not consider the actual benefits and the results and the positive impact that it can possibly have. And I think in terms of what's needed, I know there's work being done on trying to get a direct flight connection from the UK into Malawi. That would certainly be a huge benefit. Clearly, there's always improvements that can be made in terms of infrastructure and transport and those kind of things. Absolutely echo that, indeed. But certainly, I think for tourism and for Malawi to tourism, I think the future is very bright, and there is a huge amount of potential.
Right. I think on that note, I'm even hesitant to ask more questions, because that was a very good statement to leave on. But please, Kelly, stay online, because I want us to open the questioning to the floor, not just directly to the panelists, but all the things that we discussed today. So they just have an open, session where if you've got any questions directed to the High Commission, to Benjamin, to Newton, to the chamber itself, we've got the chairman here. This is the time, or wherever, hold your peace.
Can I just say one thing before we close this session? For the experts here, we are learning all the time. Okay, Kelly and so on. The one thing that we, lodges in Malawi, we're talking about getting the dollars to Malawi. The way we market ourselves is mostly through OTS or online travel agencies. The issue with that is that they take their first 20%, and then the people come, they pay by credit card, we pay the bank percentage. I don't know if there are any ways that other people that deal with traveling and putting packages together and so on, how they can help us, individual owners of hotels and lodges. So this would be a good thing that if you have any experience that you can share with people online, people are doing the same thing as us, because you want to invest money back in Malawi, but what happens is that you cut a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. By the time you come, what is left in Malawi is probably quite small. So any experience of creating packages that help this kind of industry would be quite welcome, I think.
Kelly, do you want to?
I mean, all I would say is that I think, unfortunately, it is if you're going to be trying to getting business from international operators, agents, online tourism, they are going to put their percentage on. That's where they are making their money. They're giving you that exposure. They're sending you that booking. That's how they're making their money. So I don't think there's any avoiding that if you are trying to target the international market. But it's simply a question of pricing in the end, that for that international market, if your product is suitable for that market, then you can charge a rate that means that you do make the money that you want to make. And it's about getting that balance right, so that you're offering value for money, but also something that brings you in all that you need to do. I mean, a lot of places will have differential rates for international clients as opposed to local clients. And obviously you can still have your own system where you can take direct bookings that allows you to make more money or to offer it at a slightly cheaper rate. So I'm not aware of any sort of quick and easy way of bypassing, because, if you want these people to sell your product, they've got to make some money out of it. Otherwise, they're not going to do it. So I think it's just a question of making sure that as you obviously as you build up a reputation and get more and more, then it puts you in a stronger position to be able to do that. And the more business you'll find, the more business you do with some of these people, the lower they'll put their percentages. So yeah, I think it's just a case of sort of building that business and being confident in what you've got, confident in your product, and charging what you need to charge for it.
Yeah, Benjamin?
I agree. I mean, yes, there are some niche online agents that can help, and they charge far less than 20%, or the usual suspects. But I'm thinking about what the previous panel was saying about storytelling, and never sell on price, sell on value. And if you've got a genuinely good product, and you can talk about the narrative of how you're working with the local community, and lake to table, field to table, farm to table, it's a good story. And if it's a genuine, authentic story, people will respond to that. And I've worked with really small little tourism enterprises in tiny little places, and you work through Meet, you work through influencers who can cost, but there are ways of reaching people who will respond to the right stories about the best products. And if you've got the best products, one of the most amazing countries in Africa, people are going to respond to that. Certainly, if there was a direct flight, that would help. But I'm actually going to disagree with Newton about sort of the road infrastructure being a problem. If you are honest about the roads aren't great, and you say, okay, this trip might take 3 or 4 hours, make that 3 or 4 hours into a 2-3 day trip. Stop in the middle. Find a wee village where you can sort of go and spend some time and have an amazing community experience. And work with what you've got. Don't pretend that you've got great motorways and highways, because you don't. But find ways of supporting other communities to enhance your product. So yeah, we'll get that wonderful resort lodge on the lake at some point, but in between we've had some really nice food, and it's the narrative, it's this storytelling, and that's true of food, it's true of tourism, and getting that across any way you can will bring people, and you then put the prices up, increase your margins, pay more for the best people from below.
Bobby.
And this is really encouraging, I think, right. No, I completely agree with this. I think this is really encouraging. I've stayed in lots of lodges in Malawi. And I don't have anything against Joyce Banda, but let me just refer back to that meeting I had with Joyce Banda. The MITC people presented a compendium of investment opportunities, one of which was a £200 million lodge on the southern lakeshore around Mkondiwa, somewhere like that. And we said, well, why do you want to do this? And the minister said, well, you know, I was in Sun City in South Africa. I loved it. And we're going to build a Sun City in Malawi, and we're going to build an airport beside it. And we want your money to do this. And I put in so much work to assemble the investors, and I just could see it all just crashing and burning. It was just not the right proposition. I think this is much more the right proposition. Small lodges, beautiful, authentic, organic, engaging with the community, supporting their community. And it's for an investor, it's a digestible amount of money as well. You're talking about a few hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't know. You're not talking about 200 million. So, and I think the idea of Malawi as a network of beautiful lodges, and I think my question to you would be, how connected are you with other lodges, and how do you share staff, and do you share guests between them, and so on? I've said it handy from lodge to lodge to lodge, and even give them a list of, if you break down, that's the lodge you'll go to on the way. You know, Delta, you go there and you go and ask my cousin, and then you go on. And that's a lovely thing about being in Malawi. And as Ben said, if you explain that to guests, I think it's a wonderful experience. If you don't explain it to them, it's a verifying experience. So it's just very, very small adjustments. I think you can get it right. But I think there's so much potential in the lodge sector. So well done.
That's a very good comment. I mean, in Malawi, us owners of lodges and hotels, we need to work together more. We get most of the people that stay with us. Let me make this comment as well. We have excellent Malawians that come and stay with us. People come to us for honeymoons. They come to us for people travel from Atlanta to come to us for a long weekend. So, in fact, we were not sure that we'd get many Malawians coming to stay with us, but actually 50% or more are Malawians from Malawi. So, although it's a poor country, but people look for a good product where to go and spend their money. Yeah, your comment is quite good. That the only thing we struggle with is that we send people to our neighboring lodges and they come back and say, well, we're not going to stay there because they don't like what you've got. But some people that come to us, they are actually traveling from South Africa and going up north and coming from the north down. So connected with other lodges along the way. So point them instead, if you're staying in Karonga, this is where you can stay. So yeah, that's but we're working on it. We're not there yet.
And I feel this is a conversation that from the High Commissioner to the High Commission's office, we need to begin to fit into the narrative and the proposition, for this sector. So the down up, not just the top down approach, I think it's important because you raise very pertinent, issues that can help, bring life. There's already life within the sector, but enhance it. So, with your permission, Madam High Commission, I think these are some of the things that we need to begin to have honest conversations about, also, of course, the challenges, but having a positive outlook on those challenges with a view to identifying the solutions. So within Joyce, you got a question? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe more comments, but just to start saying that congratulations for the work you've done. I've just returned from Malawi and I went to Mkondiwa, but I had other things I wanted to go and see the Lord. And you're right, I think this is not the conversation for now for the chamber, but for the High Commission, because we've got a lot of Malawians in the diaspora that are doing quite a lot of work, but we need to be supported by government and investors and banks back home, especially the banks, bringing them on board to see how they can link in with the diaspora. Because I think if you want to go to a country to experience something different, like when I went to Malawi, I spent a week in the village because I just wanted that village feel, with the local dances and stuff like that. So we need ourselves to engage with the government to sit down and really have honest conversations, and then we can link in with the chamber, or the chamber can help us in coordinating those things, because I think the diaspora are losing quite a lot of chances. And if we don't promote our own tourism within Malawi and within Africa, then we are in problem. We're in trouble. So thank you for setting, the standards up. But still, ecotourism, permaculture is becoming forefront. Let's look at what we're consuming and for the benefit of our own children. My other comment was on the previous panel. I think maybe this is a eureka moment for me and Bob. I've known Bob Anderson for a very long time. I think as long as Scotland, as far as Scotland engagement with Malawi stays the same, I think we need to sit down and really have a safe reflection, because there's a lot of business people. Remember, we used to have the business group in Scotland, whereby a lot of business, and maybe that's the time Bob and the Billy McNair's, the George Anderson, when we went to Malawi, Billy still got his lodge, hotel in Gondwe and other things. So where did we fall off? That this group of business, Scottish businessmen, standardization, we need to bring all together, sit down in a room and see, because the more we promote Malawi as a poor country with begging, and then you're coming, oh, hey, we've got trade. We know we've got a lot of things. Where Violet and myself come from, I come from Kabudura area, she's from Kongoni. We've got Lutile. We've been told that we are in danger of losing the land because the whole area is covered in Lutile. So how do we bring in investors when the other sector is saying, oh, these are poor people that need a little bit feed, and we are saying, okay, look, we've got these things. So together, I think we can make a lot of impact. For the third sector, they've been in Malawi for a very long time. They know Malawi landscape. They'll be able to enhance the business so that we can promote the chamber's activities in Malawi. But it's a matter of sitting down and having a conversation. So we are not pulling aside.
Totally agree. Totally agree. You raise very valid points, and I think those are the next steps that we're looking into. This was just the launch of a chapter, but I think we need to take a deep dive into the various elements that we've discussed to make sure that we're getting the tangible outputs and benefits to those in the ground, and also the investors and businesses. But crucially, as you alluded to, it's the poor people, it's the alleviating of the abject in some of the areas in Malawi. That's one of the graduate forces. So any questions from the, all right, Gertrude?
No, it's not a question, but I just want to recommend Dr. Matundu. Well done for what you are doing for Saturday. I want to encourage you, there's a massive opportunity on what you're doing because you can involve the community. What secondary school is in Hannington? You have a secondary school in Hannington? I don't agree with the secondary school, yeah. That is your other area for marketing. Engage the secondary school children. I can help you myself on my storyteller. So I can help out for ideas to work around how to market Malawi, how to market businesses and universities. That's also another opportunity that you can explore in terms of marketing. And the charities and social enterprises, if they chip in and work together, collaboration. There's massive opportunity around what you're doing and how to the community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from the audience? Right, Sue.
This is more towards government, really. What we've been talking about is for investment in agriculture and in tourism and in engineering, you could say. But from my experience, I can see at the local schools, actually the curriculum isn't right at the grassroots. The curriculum isn't there. It's there for agriculture, but it's definitely not there for business, and it's not there for engineering unless you can maths and science. At the moment, the schools are just turning out students that can do Bible studies, can do English, can do maths, another Malawian language, biology, and just science, 2 sciences. And there's no business studies. It's like, as I say, there's agriculture, but there's very little else. So the curriculum that the general schools are doing is not ready for these challenges.
Well, that's a brilliant point. That's something that I think the High Commission has noted, and I think, as we've been told by the President, he's a listening President, so hopefully some of these points will be conveyed to the team and the ministry in question, because you need to be, ready for the future, and the workforce needs to be ready for the digital world that we're getting into with the relevant skills.
Yeah.
We've got questions online. But my position is a bit awkward to. What are the questions? Would you show that down or you want?
Last one.
The last one.
What incentives?
There's a question from Enoch Bamsi. What incentives are there for Malawians in the diaspora to invest in Malawi? Question number 1. Madam High Commission. Hello.
Thank you. I think one of the issues that the Malawi government is looking at is ensuring that the diaspora is investing in Malawi. And one of the issues that has been on the table discussed with members of the diaspora is about land allocation, because people really want to have land where they can make investments. And if you've been following up news recently, the government identified land, especially northern part of Malawi, to those where, and last week they were giving an update that what has been done so far is they've done the discussions with the community, and what they're waiting is just to do compensation, and before the end of this year, that land should be available where people can also, especially targeting members of the diaspora, where it can be allocated to members of the diaspora for them to make meaningful investments in Malawi. And one of the issues that also has been there is the to do with banks and all that. We've had the discussions with some of the banks in Malawi, Standard Bank, National Bank, NBS Bank, where they can help Malawians living in the diaspora to have access, if they want to make meaningful investments, to have access maybe to loan. And they even worked on procedures on how members of the diaspora can open accounts back home whilst they are here. And we've got some people have approached us, and we've helped them signing the forms for them to open their accounts, so that at least they also have access to finances and all that. So there are all those incentives that are being made to ensure that the members of the diaspora are part of the agenda, to make sure that we together we develop our nation. Maybe I'll also maybe ask whether maybe Shakira or Val wanted to add something to that.
Before you proceed.
Yeah, so before maybe I pause there was a comment that was made by Joyce, where we're talking about Malawi being poor. It has been Malawi being a poor country. We are inviting charity or aid coming. But when we talk about, if we change the narratives to talk about Malawi having the potential for investments and having resources that are really available for people to trade, we are going to attract investors. So it's about how we are presenting the narratives about Malawi. So I think it's something that we also need to work on to ensure that we have seen Malawi as a country which has a potential for investors. But if we talk about Malawi being poor, or what people would think, the first thing that will come to their mind is, let's help them, let's provide aid, let's provide donation. So I think those are the things that we need to look into. Thank you.
Okay.
I would also add that Malawi government, we're looking into finding out, tipping out from you, the diaspora, what is it exactly that you want. And we've given out a survey that we asked you to come up with what really would be best for us as a government and the diaspora. What would we work on? Unfortunately, most of the people don't be part of this when we send out those kind of, So even us as diaspora, we need to be in forefront when the Malawi government was to come up with policies or what would be best to help out the diaspora, to help in Malawi. But there's been a survey that has been sent out as well to the diaspora community, so we're able to come up with the rightful incentives for the diaspora.
Right.
Done something with that one. So thank you so much, Madam, for thinking about us. I don't want to say my own experience. It has been frustrating. I don't want to lie to you. My mind passes through so many ideas. And charity, investment, I'll try to do that. But it's really difficult. One thing that we struggle at the diaspora in the system. Let's say you want a lawyer to help you to register. That will take it to Jesus Christ. They want a simple thing. So the High Commissioner is here. Those are some of the challenges. And sometimes you scream out, just give up on the country. But no, that's your country. You want to invest. Like for me, I love Malawi. What I'm wearing, I've made from Malawi, by the way. I love Malawi so much. I want to be the solution. So if the system can be systemized, I think it will be easier for us to invest in Malawi. But so far for now, it's really a mountain to do things in Malawi.
Right, and I think that's where the Chamber, in partnership with the mission, comes in. And on that note, she surprised us, get with that lady, with these two things. I know the chairperson is ready to make his remarks. So
before you do that, I've also got something for Mr. Chibaka. This is our own Malawi paste-made powder. Why not? I'm really.
Wow.
Not mine, but I think the minister, when we were talking about the trade fair, the president stood at that. This is Malawi made, based in serious or porridge and stuff. I'll talk to you about it later, but I brought you specially for this to taste Malawi meat.
So can we share that with the rest of the members? No, I'm joking. Mr. Chairperson, I think I'll just give you the mic, unless there's one burning question. I know we're approaching 4. All right.
I think it's more of an observation and a comment in terms of, how do we collectively come up with an integrated strategy that moves the Malawi product into a premium brand? Because if we're talking about direct flights from the UK to Malawi, from the US to Malawi, from Europe, elsewhere, it's a very expensive trip, right? So how do we make sure that we are telling that narrative, learning from other countries who've been very successful, which were also very poor countries? So, for example, there's Rwanda, that's success story. There's lots of places in Asia which have been able to sort of convert that narrative. I think there's lessons for us Malawis to come together and, really rebrand our country. Thank you.
Totally agree, and this is where vision needs to be followed firmly by action, and sometimes we fail in that regard. We're very good at writing documents, but we're moving away from the documents to implementation. So on that note, I will hand over to Mr. Edgar Chibaka, who's our chairperson for the chamber, for the concluding remarks. It doesn't mean it's the end of the event. There'll be a networking opportunity, refreshments till about 5. So, Mr. Chibaka, over to you.
This is good. How many years have we been independent in Malawi? Do you know? 6 years. So it's taken us all that long to have this.
Yeah.
Good. Pass our congratulations to the guys who have made this. I think this will be good. Shall we put some money into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have listened to each other. We have listened to our contributions. There's one thing that we need to be very good at. Number one, admit that we have got a problem. If we are sugarcoating a problem, we will never cure it. We have a problem. But I'm telling you, that problem will take the business community to come together and solve it. We talk about issues of connectivity. We know we've got the mobile phone companies there. They're not doing a good job. But that gap is for someone within us, within the business community, to say, hey, I'm going to be the new Elon Musk. It is not complicated to create something like that. That's an opportunity. Dr. Matupi, you've just had a solution next door to you. Pick it up. And that's what happens when the business community, we come together and we talk, we share our issues and our experiences. We come up with solutions. So you have a solution today. And the other solution is you've got another storyteller there who says, I'm willing to help you by telling your story beyond what possibly you're doing right now. My solution to you is get this machine. Be your own storyteller. Enhance your website. And when you're out there, tell your people, this is how you can come to us. This machine will move mountains for you. Or put it back. This is just an example. The real challenge that we have, us as a business community, investors in Malawi, is there is a task. This is not for us, so this is not for you, madam. You are the government, right? We have got a challenge on inflation. Because as an investor, that actually erodes any gain that we can get from our investment. We have got a problem with exchange rate. That then it just shatters everything that we may put in. We have got problems with the skills. We hear that there are a lot of skills in Malawi. Yes, there are skills, but those skills are also inadequate for things that we really need to move the country forward. A lot of retraining needs to happen. So unless we are able to admit that these gaps exist, we cannot sell or open up to anybody to say, we need you to come and invest in this so that we can actually move to get to that level. For me, 2063 is very far. I'm actually, I don't know how old I will be by then, but it's very far. Can we have some quick wins? As investors, we invest for the long goal. But in our strategies, you've got a short, medium, and long term. Can we move into short term? Because if we don't get the short term gains, we cannot achieve the long term goals. We build on the short term, middle, and then it launches you to the long term. Let's be part of the solution that is delivering value for the country in the short term. Our people, they need jobs today. If we tell them you're going to get a job in 20 years' time, it's tough. I want to move out of Malawi and get a job in South Africa. And that's what we are seeing now. Talent is moving out of the country, frustrated, wanting to go and work elsewhere. We can create jobs. There was a question that Mr. Bamus asked there. What can we do? What incentives are there for the diaspora? The answer is none. There are no incentives for you as the diaspora because there have never been. You got to take the risk. Do not wait for anybody to incentivize you for you to do something. Take your money, go and invest in there. The return to you as a business person or investor will come from investment. A lot of business people, and I want this is so clear to us again, because sometimes we complain too much about government is not doing this, government is doing this, because we are looking for freebies. We got to stop. Don't look for freebies from government. Let the government invest those freebies into something that can actually achieve a meaningful goal. And ask the investors, take it on the chin and use your dollar, use your euro, use your pound, put it in the ground and let the return come out of it. You've got to stop this. There is a better way of incentivizing this. Let's grow our partnerships. Because something that you're looking for as a freebie, I have it. Bob has it. Dr. Matopi has it. Our sister Gertrude has it. When we pull these resources together, our story becomes better. Our brother here is talking about brand Malawi. It's not going to come from one person. It will come from all of us. Our brother here is an expert bent in creating these strategies. When we join up, we'll have something that will deliver a better Malawi. And I know a better Malawi is possible. The president tells us this all the time. A better Malawi is possible. But it takes us. It takes us in this room. And let's join up in that vision that the president has for a better Malawi is possible. And a better business is possible in Malawi, regardless of the issues or the challenges that are at hand. People are making money there in Malawi. They are. And we are sat here, oh, there's too much corruption. Oh, this and that. No. Let's be in a better shape. Corruption will always be there. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters in this room. Even in the very old Greeks, you read the Greek histories, they battled against things like corruption. They battled against people not wanting to pay taxes. These things always exist, but we are looking for ethical business people who can build sustainable businesses, whose businesses can care for that next person. So Scotland, the chamber is here for us. Joyce talks about the other business captains who were there in the old business group. I suppose they're not dead, they're still alive. Let's reach out to them. The chamber is here in Scotland. Let's build a stronger chapter here in Scotland. And we've got great leaders. Bob, you know how to do it. We're going to be building a strong network. SMP, thank you so much. You've been a great hub. You've worked tirelessly for this. I had the confidence of not even getting into this conversation because I trusted our CEO. I trusted the people that he was working with, the people from the mission. You've been great. It's these sort of partnerships which deliver value and success. So to you, Stuart, and your team, pass my regards and pass the regards from all of us here. You've made us comfortable here. We've talked about businesses. We've talked about Malawi. We've talked about taking Malawi further because you've made it possible. So thank you. And the mission, Your Excellency, thank you for your team and everything that you have thrown into this. Without that, we would have not produced the success that we see today. My own CEO here, my brother, you've worked so hard. And thank you for your dedication to this. We do this because we believe in a better Malawi. We do this because we know a Malawi can transform. There's no reason why people are just talking about Kenya. They're just talking about Rwanda. Rwanda is too small. Rwanda is the equivalent of the region that I come from. It's just the equivalent of the region I come from. And we have got 23 million people there. Do you mean 23 million people are all failures? Yeah. That's not possible. But it takes people like us who are willing to go and work with the farmers and pay the farmers a fair value. When we pay a fair value, the farmers' welfare is uplifted. Then they begin to move out from less than $1 a day to $1 a day to $2 a day to $3 a day. It's the business that will move them to $3 a day. They won't do that on their own. So friends, let's network. Share the opportunities. I want to know what you are working on. You should also ask me, oh, are you Mr. Chairman? Are you just the chairman? No, I'm not just the chairman. I'm also an investor in Malawi. So talk to me about my investment in Malawi, as I also ask you what your investment is. Let's do this together. We will be communicating to us when the next event is and how the structuring of the Scotland chapter will look like. And I want you to be encouraged that when the emails come out that we are back here in this room and we're going to be in the, do you have the Winston Churchill room here? No?
Mandela room.
Okay, well, next time possibly we're going to meet in the Mandela room, right? Because it might be a smaller group working on the Scottish Chamber strategy and how we can move forward. We want to be vibrant. The relationship between Scotland and Malawi, they are so deep. And I know it's hard for Scotland to walk away from Malawi, even if we wanted to, but I know we can't because we are so intertwined. Let's take it to the next level. Friends, on this note, I thank you so much for sparing your time. I know you'd have actually been working on some very important things, but you chose this afternoon to come here. Let's network and let's create value in our networks. There's so much capital between us. And let's release this capital to create wealth. So let's enjoy and have a good day. If you're traveling longer like me, I wish you a safe travel back home. But watch out for that email. It may come from the SMP. Sorry, not SMP, SMP. I got my tongue twisted. But that's the government here. So it's not very wrong. They will not send you an email, but they have helped us to have good facilities here. So just be on the lookout. Let's be engaged. Thank you so much, and hope to see you soon here in Edinburgh. Thank you. So we need to find a space where we can take some photos for our memory and our children's memories.
So are we just standing in front here? Maybe.
We say goodbye to the people.
Oh, as a matter of fact, yeah, those of us who joined us online, we also deeply, thank you for being with us, be it virtually. We do appreciate, and as the chairman say, we will be communicating with regard what the next steps will be after this event. Thank you very much.